Welcome back, makeup family. Today we're talking about the YSL Black Opium Intense Night Edition palette. It is a gorgeous blue intense, somewhat frustrating, but very beautiful palette. So here we go. The packaging, this is what the box looks like. Just the standard YSL packaging in gold. And this is what the stunning palette looks like. And the shadow actually looks very much like the packaging. Very sparkly, very blue. It was just so pretty. And it was like navy glitter. Like, how can you not? How could I not? And I just love it. It's beautiful. I really, really love the eye look and the way that it turned out today. So let's take a look at this palette. I have a full face of YSL on today. And I hauled this a while ago, but I hadn't done a review on the products that I purchased. The stunning blue, this beautiful mid-tone blue that I used in my crease. It's stunning. It's a really beautiful palette. It was a little bit frustrating to use because I don't think I have any other YSL shadows, so I wasn't used to the formulation, and I didn't do things the way that in the normal order that I do because I was scared. But all in all, after a little bit of frustration and a little bit of finagling, I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's really, really pretty. So, again, this is the packaging in the back. And I'm going to go ahead and swatch these for you. I hadn't seen any reviews on this palette. And I was so darn curious about it when I saw it. And I was like, I have to try that. So let me go ahead. And I'm going to warn you in advance that the swatches are not going to blow you away. Because they didn't blow me away. And when I first swatched it, I was like, TF? But I think the normal price for these palettes are $60. But for some reason, when I was ordering mine, it was $36. So I wasn't nearly as mad, you know, when it didn't swatch like an absolute dreamboat. I'm used to, you know, shadows that swatch like, you know, marvelous. And this didn't quite exactly happen in that manner. But as you can see, they built up very nicely, and I love the look. I will pull this out again and again to do this eye look. I'm just kind of building them up a little bit on the back of my hand because I don't want you to be too disappointed in the swatches. So I'm going to try to build it up just a little bit and give you an idea of what can happen. But the formula too, and you'll see in the swatches, this is the swatches. So this mid-tone blue that I put in my crease is here. That's the very first color I swatched. And it looks kind of grayish. It doesn't look like anything to write home about. It doesn't look like, oh my God, that's the most beautiful blue I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't look like that, I know, when you swatch it. This really flat, well, there you go. This black right here, this sparkling black color is super pretty. And there, when I turn my hand like that, you can really see the reflect of that color and appreciate how gorgeous that is. This silver is very nice. That's the silver here. And I did wet it to use. This blue right here is this. And it looks a lot more, it's on the outside of my waterline. It looks a lot more royal blue and striking than it does in this swatch. I will give it to you that the swatches are just not impressive. And the black is, of course, this matte black here that I have in the very, very outer corners. But it came together so beautifully. I can't even really hold it against this palette. And look how the packaging, look at that. I mean, you can't really be that mad. It turned out really, really pretty. I was really scared at first, and I was like, I'm not gonna have, I'm on this new diet, so I'm like trying to cut back on my martinis, right? Because it's just pure sugar. And I was like, I'm not gonna have a martini tonight. But then I started working with this eyeshadow, and I was like, oh, I might need a martini. When I first put this mid-tone blue color in the crease, and you know, and it had the strangest texture. Like, really, I wanted to be YSL's ass, because I was just like, well, how are you making eyeshadow with this bizarre texture? And in honesty, it did have a bizarre texture. Now, normally, in fairness, it could very well be due to the fact that I did some things differently. I normally go in with this Catrice Liquid Camouflage in Light Natural, and I use this as an eyeshadow base. It, you know, just makes the area nice and bright and smooth, and it just gives me a great light, bright canvas to work with for my eyeshadows, and it just smooths out whatever creases are in, you know, naturally in my mature lids. And you know, it's a great eyeshadow base, and I have Urban Decay, and I have everything under the sun, but this is what I always use. Well, but it does really intensify, you know, the vividness of the eyeshadows. That's one of the reasons why I use it. But since I'd never worked with this formula before, I was afraid of going in full blast, you know, with my Sonia G Worker 1 and just laying, you know, this blue color into my crease to start with, because I didn't know what was gonna happen, what I was gonna ultimately be working with. So instead, I went in with, I just had it in front of me, the Cover FX Anti-Aging Eye Primer is what I went in with instead. I figured I would take it nice and easy. I'd use the Anti-Aging Eye Primer, or I would have used, if the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Eye Potion had been available for me to reach, I would have reached for that. It's just creamy, and you know, maybe that had something to do with why the shadows performed in such a bizarre way before things finally started to come together. I was really, really scared. But I used that instead, and then I set the base. I normally don't set my base. I normally just put the concealer on and blend it out a little bit and go right in with the eyeshadow, and that works great for me. And I think that I'll go back to my normal method, and I won't be messing with this or, you know, something different. Because when I went in, instead of just laying this color right here into the crease, I instead took, you know, did the typical thing that, you know, people do, go into the crease with a fluffy brush. I went in on my Sonia G and Wayne Goss brushes here. I went in instead with my newest Sonia G brush, which is the Blender Pro, I think. Yep, this is the Blender Pro. And it's just sort of a more fluffy blending brush. And so I went into my crease with this mid-tone blue, and I just started to slowly build it up and blend it, you know, just the standard typical way that people do the eyeshadow, which I typically do mine differently. But when I started to put this in, and it started to kind of, I don't know, I can't even really describe or articulate properly what happened with the shadow, but it just started to smear, kind of. It blended, but it almost like over blended, and it almost was like oily or something going across my lids. It was bizarre. I'm not gonna hold it against the shadow. Because I don't have any other YSL shadow to compare it to. I really didn't know what to expect, and I was very pissed off at first, but look how pretty it turned out. I mean, I have this dark, this in the crease. Then what I did is I placed this gorgeous shimmery black, that's this color, sorry, this color. I placed that After I blended that this mid-tone blue in my crease, then I took my finger and just put this sparkly black right in the center of each lid. And after putting the sparkly black in the center of my lid with my finger, then I went over it with this royal blue. So I went over this color with this color, and I'll do that now so I can show you the effect that I got. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's cool. There you go, this. And that's exactly, with a little bit more blue, how it kind of turned out on the lid. And I was very happy with how that went down. And it just kind of produced kind of a deeper, just a more sparkly version of the blue. So I just did the sparkly black, and I just laid that royal blue right on top of it, and it just created such a pretty effect. And I really like it. I really, really, really like how the eye look turned out. I would definitely grab this for a date. My husband's tired and taking a nap, so I don't think I'm gonna be having a date tonight. But it's such a great look. I mean, like, you're going out, you have a date night, you have a really special dinner, and you just want your eyes to pop and be stunning, and you want, you know, something that's like very different. And blue is trending now, and you know, there are lots of people who look gorgeous in all the shades of blue and all the beautiful blue palettes coming out, but I'm a little afraid of blue. And so this sort of, you know, sparkly navy take on blue, I think, you know, is appropriate. I don't want to say age appropriate, because I don't believe in age appropriateness, but it's flattering on the eyelids. It doesn't bring out any texture or crinkles or anything, and it just lays nicely on the lids and looks very flattering. I love this palette. It's the Black Opium Intense Night Edition, and I couldn't find a single review on this palette when I saw it initially and went to go buy it, and I was very curious about it. And I usually don't just buy things sight unseen, especially if it's a product I haven't, like YSL, I would buy a lipstick in a minute. I would buy a lip gloss in a minute. There, you know, lots of products that I will buy sight unseen, you know, YSL products. But an eyeshadow palette isn't one of them, because I just don't have any YSL palettes. And so I was kind of like, you know, and so I picked it up, and I'm not sorry that I did. I did think I was sorry a little bit earlier today for about maybe 5 minutes or so. It was very touch and go, and I wanted to kick somebody's ass, because I was really mad because it was a little oily and weird, you know, getting that crease color in. It was a little strange, but it could have been my primer. I'm going to give this palette the benefit of the doubt. Again, the swatches are not phenomenal, but you know, swatches give us information about, you know, the color and the undertones and just generally the quality of it, but you can't always capture completely, you know, what the quality is going to be like on your eyelid and how it's going to perform as a shadow just based on a swatch. I can't think off the top of my head, but I know that I have shadows that swatch like a dream but perform like crap. And then there are shadows like this that don't swatch all that great. It actually didn't perform all that great either, I have to say, but it looks beautiful. And in the end, you know, that's really all I care about, is if it turned out looking beautiful. And it did. It's just a beautiful, like, sapphire blue eye look. I love the packaging. It was buildable. I was able ultimately to work with it. Is it the best eyeshadow formula I've ever seen? Hell no. But if you love the color scheme and you like this sort of an eye look, and you just want to have it all together in one palette, grab it, and it gives you a nice cohesive look. You have to take your time, you have to blend and, you know, just sort of build up color and work with it. And if you don't mind that and you love the colors, then I say absolutely go for it. But in terms of, you know, saying that it's beginner friendly or, you know, it's easy, if you don't have great brushes, I have no idea if you could blend this with you know, something that was an inferior quality to Sonia G. Probably if you have really, if you're very skilled at makeup, you could, but I wouldn't consider myself that girl. I consider myself the girl that, you know, I work with it, you know, I have to take my time, and, you know, generally I turn out, it all works out in the end, and I turn out with an acceptable look or a very nice look that I enjoy. But, you know, this was not beginner friendly, and these didn't perform like top-notch shadows that I have from other brands. But I do love the color story, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I don't regret buying it, especially since it was $36 and not $60. I think if this had been $60, I would have been pissed off. Even though it turned out really cute, I think I still would be pissed off, because I'd be like, now for $60, you're just insulting me to even sell me eyeshadow that turns kind of oily and slides in a weird way on your lid. You know, you just are, you know, disrespectful to even sell me something like that for $60. But for $36, and the packaging is so gorgeous, and the look turned out just exactly as I could have, you know, the best I could have possibly hoped for. It's really, really beautiful. I'm not mad at it. Let me tell you what else I have on my face. So I also ordered this Touche Eclat All-in-One Glow in the color BD40, which is Warm Sand. It was very dark. As you can see, it's is very dark for me. So I had to save it. And in addition to that, the formula itself is oily, like freaking oily. I mean, I understand dewy. I understand, you know, something moisturizing. I tend to get tinted moisturizers, BB creams, and CC creams because I have more mature skin, and I like the extra dewiness. I like the extra moisture that it brings. But oily? Nah. So let me tell you how I saved this YSL foundation that was too dark and was also oily. I bought this, I've been hearing so much about this Loreal Infallible Fresh Wear. I bought it in the color 420, and I know it looks super light, but it oxidizes quite a bit. So on the dry down, I get to a decent, good place. But this Infallible, Loreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear, it saved the day, because this was orange and oily, and I'm kind of pissed off that I bought it. You know, this is not even my summer shade. This is, you know, it's kind of brown and it's kind of oily. So it's fine. I can just mix it like I did today with something that's on the light side, and, you know, it'll be fine. It will be completely fine. But I love, I didn't like this, the YSL. I didn't really like that much. But the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear, I liked, and I don't like a lot of foundations. I've only worn it this once, and I had to mix it because the Touche Eclat was way too dark and the wrong color for me. So I'm typically about an NC30, and I have, you know, warm, like olive undertones. So 420 does work for me. I may do a further review. If you're interested in that, let me know. I use the YSL Touche Eclat Shimmer Stick in light gold, and then I went over it a little bit with my beauty blender because I just wanted to go for just more of a, you know, a nice sort of dewy finish, just a nice youthful glow, not a full-on highlight. I really love this product. At first I went in with a neutral lipstick that I picked up. I picked up these YSL lippies in the Rouge per Couture. Initially I went in with the nude, and that's what it looks like. And it was beautiful, but with this blue eye look, I thought that the red was just better for it. I also have this really gorgeous sort of orangey red here, and I didn't really see this one before, so I'm gonna put this one over the red that I have. it didn't really do anything. I don't have on my reading glasses. That's the color there. It is really, really I will put them in the description box below. I'll put on my reading glasses, and I make sure that I will list them in the description box below. The red that I did actually end up using is this one. And how cute is that? The little design that's on there. And I will, again, put the actual color in the description box below. But it's just a beautiful, bright red. And I thought that it would play well with this kind of navy sparkle eye. So those are the products that I used on my face today. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you on the very next one.